We're live.
Yep, we are live.
This is the link.
Thank you very much.
And voila. We're live.
We are live.
This is the link.
Much.
And voila.
Okay.
We're live.
Have you made a post about it?
Of us. This is the link. I make the announcement. Yeah. And voila.
Okay.
We're live.
Have you made a post about it?
Hello everyone.
I just found out if I don't mute the sound on YouTube, it's just gonna loop what you said over and over and over again. You know?
I mute on YouTube. Yeah.
No, I'm saying I had to mute the YouTube. Either way, it was just what you said. It was just replay on YouTube, and then it would say replay again and again.
Yeah. I forgot.
It's kind of
That.
like a vortex. Venuvia, hey man, welcome.
Let's wait a couple of minutes more.
Yeah, let's wait a couple of minutes. If you got any questions, post them in YouTube chat, and we will try to
We'll be
answer
pleased
them.
to answer them
Yes.
together with Alex.
Yes. But don't be too harsh, guys. It's still a little bit after holidays, We're still adjusting to this new schedule, right?
But we may change the schedule next week, actually.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying, the work schedule of trading and everything, trying to get back in the system after 2 weeks of, just being a little bit more relaxed. Yeah, already started on it with Forex on Monday.
6 of us. Welcome, guys.
6 of us already. Yes, people are quite active after the holidays, which is good to know. It's good to know. Again, for everyone that just joined, if you got any questions, you can post them in YouTube chat, and we will answer them throughout the stream. We're just gonna give it a couple more minutes for people so they can join.
Yeah, 2 minutes more or something.
Yeah. Just had like a workout 30 minutes before the stream, so I am quite ready. It's one of those things when you have this New Year promises, that you're gonna change some habits and everything, right? And then
Yeah, you have to stick with it.
and you do it for like
At
a
least
week or
1 week,
two, and
at
then
least 1 or 2 weeks. Huh?
nah, but I started already with this way above. I mean, way before the New Year's Eve, But it's just funny, thinking about it after the New Year.
Yeah.
Ça n'a pas commencé?
Non. Regarde. Si ça me lève, en fait. We're on live.
Oh, the beautiful language of French. I love it.
Yeah, Benjamin is there.
Yeah, I recognize I recognize his voice. Amen.
Okay, I guess we can start.
Okay. Welcome, guys. Welcome again. The last webinar we had, it was actually on 31st. 31st of December, which was in the previous year. Yeah. And so, thus, I would like to wish everyone a happy new year, and I hope everyone had quite blessed holidays, peaceful, but not too peaceful during the New Year's Eve, right? Because I was just talking to Arnaud here, and he pretty much partied for 2 days straight, you know. So, so I hope everybody got that out of their system as well, right? With some alcohol and everything. Um, so, right back at it, right? Right back starting with BTC after the New Year's Eve. And if you guys remember in the last video, or should I say the last webinar, sorry, we talked about taking a trade long on BTC right down here. Which, as we already said, we had numerous longs on with use of our favorite usage of new AlgoBot. We already had a long on Ethereum, if I remember correctly, and a long on BTC, right? Plus, we had two alts running, so we didn't risk any further, right? Uh, so after that, our very last profit target was above here, right? So basically this green line being the top of the range that we were currently moving that since 22nd of November. Now, after basically a month and a half at this point, right, we finally took a chance to break the range out, right? So now the question is, what is next? If you have noticed one thing in particular Bitcoin, especially lately, is that whenever it does those moves, it makes them in one singular move. What I mean like that, it doesn't retrace at all, right? So it just basically moves in one direction, and the same thing is happening right here. So for me right now, there is no point in catching shorts around these areas, right? Why that's being is because even if you do manage to catch a good short here, you will never know when it's gonna break down. So that's the biggest issue when you have it like here. It's like when you create a short, if you just like zoom on for a little bit right here, right? So you create a certain thing, right? And this certain thing right here would have been pretty logical for you to go on lower time frames and find an entry there and place your stop above this, right? But false. This works in plenty of markets, traditional markets and everything at the moment, and this works especially during the winter because liquidity is high there, but it doesn't work in BTC right now because, for example, you had exactly the same thing here, right? And you would place your stop loss right here, and then the single candle move, it wicked you out, closed right back under, and went down, right? So, for anyone who's trying to find a show right now or is trying to play these levels, I would wait for something like this. I would wait for a candle that would do something like this perhaps, and then close right back under this candle and then potentially moving down if I was to be looking for short, right? Which in this moment we probably won't even get one if we continue with this brand of Bitcoin just going up at the moment because people are feeling a lot bullish. Okay, of course, if people are feeling a lot bullish, we should do exactly the opposite of that, right? But we have to think that there's a limited volume still. You know, the volume still hasn't recovered from the last time we spoke about, and it doesn't intend to. So right now, the plan is, okay, if you get a big wick like this, right? In my personal plan, if I get a big wick like this and it closes right back under this level, yes, I will short it. And I will short it by market smashing it, right? But the issue is right now, if it just goes down right now, I'm not gonna short it, right? Because simply this shorting it right here, looking like this, wrecked at me too many times in the past, just because, you know, these things always, they do a fake out before they go down. See, every time it did a fake out before it went down, right? Hey Gordon, hey man, welcome to you too, bro. Oh yeah, as before we go forward, let me mention if you got any questions about trading, anything really, just post in the YouTube chat, and we will answer them as we go with the stream above forward. Okay, so the thing is, I will, however, try to capture a short without waiting for it first. So what I mean, I'm gonna go knife catch it, as you like to call it in trading. I'm gonna go knife catch the short right here around this area right now, because this. Ah, jeez. Because this, look, I'm pressing the wrong buttons because I am slightly retarded, I would say. Okay, fixed it. Okay, I will try to catch this this short right here, right? Simply being for this, if you flip the structure over, and for someone who, a quick tip for the guys who don't know how to do this, if you press on trading view, if you press alt and I, you see the chart flips over, right? What we get by this is a very important area, right? But this is the start of the area, and this start of the area is usually when structures tend to react, because they tended to react before that in the, how to say, you had a support and resistance, which was the middle of the structure, right? And then once you tested it, it was tested to the dot, and then it got flipped toward the resistance, and then it moved, right? In this case, it went down because the chart is flipped around, right? But in this case, this when it comes right when it does the pump and dump, right? Obviously, when it comes back to this area, this is actually a pretty nice area for you to first start off your for you to first start off setting your trade, or how to say, to setting your reaction on the trade. So this is a really good area for trying to catch the knife catch, right? And give me a second. Yeah. And I will do it without waiting for an SFP in this waking moment, right? I will just do it. I might get wrecked, so there's one situation what can happen to this again, as I spoke about. So we can come to this area, we can do something like this, right? We can do something like this, and then before it goes down, it does something like this, closes back in, and then it goes down. If this is gonna be the scenario, I'm gonna get stopped, right? But if this happens and it closes right back under this level, then I'm going to market smash exactly the same short again and write it down, right? Because the potential target is far greater than what I get to lose, right? And this would be again my last profit target. So even if I lose 2 trades here, I still win 3 trades if it hits down here, right? And I do think it has a great potential of hitting down here. So yeah, basically you can't even limit this area to 1 profit target. You gotta limit it to it's a little bit wider. Why is it wider? Because the graph, as you can see, is choppy. Let's be honest, right? I mean, you can see there's wicks everywhere pretty much, so you can't really pinpoint it to one line of profit target. So yes, I would be taking profit in this box down here, and it's quite worth it, to be honest. Minding that the second time, also forgot to mention this, if it's gonna look like something like this, right, and it closes right back under the level, the stop the second time is gonna be smaller, because I'm gonna place my stop loss prior to this level, or perhaps what is gonna be in between the chart, right? So in the second time, it's gonna be prior stop is gonna be way smaller, so that does making profit much larger and reward. So basically, even this making this trade even more worth it, right? There's one possible scenario that I'm gonna wait for, and this is definitely the thing I would take in, given doesn't matter when. If I wake up, I'm gonna take it, right? I would take it in the middle of the night, doesn't care. There's also possible one scenario, I guess, again, like I said, lack of volume, BTC moves in one direction. So what you get this, you get another one, you get this, right? You can get something like this, right? In this case, I am still betting heavily that we won't break this area, right? So this whole green rectangle, which is huge, by the way, right? So DCAing, how to say, dollar to cost averaging throughout this entire rectangle is not a good idea, right? It's basically never been a good idea trading, because it usually works like a martingale strategy in lottery. Lottery in what's it called, roulette. And it usually, when it backfires, you pretty much lose your entire bank, right? So I would never indulge into something like that. So obviously you can't short such a vast area, so you can only wait for these small intakes like we do here before it kind of gives you a signal that it's gonna reverse, and then you enter in on that particular pattern, right? Why do I have this line made up here? This is not the last. Yeah, right there, Gordon. You got your answer. Sorry. This line right here. Why I have this line drawn right here? Because this is sort of an important line right here. If you have seen, let's just go on a daily, right? You've seen the continuous pattern of bitcoins, right? And it's still remaining bearish. Like, obviously nothing changed. I know plenty of people on Telegram and Twitter and everywhere are saying that Bitcoin is bullish. Yes, it is bullish on smaller time frames. Should I say 4 hour less, right? But on high time frames like daily plus, it's not bullish, right? It's not bullish. The pattern still continues. But breaking this line, and again, I'm not talking about this, right? If this happens, that's bearish, because you got a wick, it closed right back under the level. What do? You would market smash the short, and look what it did after that, right? It just fell down, right? If you get something like that, that's not bullish. But if you get, like, mind to say, if it does something like this, and just makes something like this and goes down, right? Or if it just makes something like this and goes down, no, that could be considered breaking a very high time frame pattern, which in consecutive could make Bitcoin bullish. It's not 100% sure, but it's gonna tilt my direction from looking for shorts all the time to looking for longs all the time, right? That's basically it, right? Another thing is, let's just check BTC long. Let's see how BTC long charts looks like. BTC longs. Wow. What the hell? This looks actually absolutely. Wait. Oh wait, that's BTC. That's the wrong one. What is the BTC? Oh, sorry. Yeah, missed one. Longs. Let's see that. Yep. So basically, longs were at all-time high, right? Okay, so longs were at all-time high and BTC moved, right? I would say when something is at all-time high, right? So I guess I'm gonna say if this is an all-time high, and I've seen some statistics, 90% of people were long, right? When 90% of people are long, you know, it's scary being long, right? Arnaud, I mean, let's be honest. If liquidation comes, you can get a quite a nice cascade, right? Just going down, crashing heavily, right? Now the thing is, once we start mooning and the long chart obviously starts moving down, because why people close their longs, they take profits, or in particular they take shorts, right? Now this actually gives us a fighting chance, right? Now the only thing is, the question is, how far will BTC go when we hit this point, right? Because this would be sort of our main level now, the whole structure, right? So for this chart, it would be really important for this area, right? Now the thing is, how far will BTC go when this line hits it, right? Because if we hit this, I'm sure, if we hit this, right? If we hit this one, then I'm pretty sure BTC on the long charts perspective is going to be around this area. And then it's gonna start bouncing. Now that doesn't mean that BTC is gonna go up, obviously, right? Because if BTC long start to bounce on the chart, like obviously if BTC long starts to bounce, the chart won't go like this, just continue up, right? No, the chart will retrace, and it will give chance for BTC longs to bounce, right? Until it, you know, just turns around and starts mooning again, right? So bit of a nice confluence with this chart right now. I mean, with this position right here, it has a pretty nice confluence with the BTC long chart as well. So, you know, it could work out quite endearing. Let's just see the dominance again. Okay, the dominance on BTC still has places to go. It can still touch this one up, but it's actually not even that bearish yet. Let me see. I mean, on a smaller time frames, it's like it's kind of showing you that it's done, and I would even argue with it that it's possible that it's done. But since we didn't lose this level yet, I'm not gonna argue with it. So this still has places to go, but it's a high chances that we reject up here. There's a like really high chance that we reject up here. Which basically, if we reject up here, if I'm not mistaken, you know, then chart should be around this area when it gets up there. So that would make a lot of sense, right? Because let's be honest, alts are still pretty much dead. Like even this alt that we had, that we were stopped this week. Like look at this small reaction after such a big retrace. We get a small reaction, now it goes even lower, right? Luckily we moved stop already, and we minimalized losses to really small losses, right? But like I said, you know, it's really hard to trade alts still, and the volume is still not. Wait, let me. This volume is still not picking up, right? So, one of these things again, Ethereum. We talked about Ethereum last time. We talked about because Ethereum had a hard fork right on the New Year's Eve, and after that, when they had a hard fork, they actually had a lot of security issues, and the nodes didn't refresh correctly, right? So the thing is, if you were sending Ethereum transactions out during that time when the nodes were not refreshing, not only could your transaction get stuck, they could also steal it from you. Like, I don't know how that works, right? But that's what they were telling us at the time, right? Hopefully, I mean, they did fix that, and now it's all normal, right? We waited for Ethereum to hit this one, and luckily it came really close. I guess we missed it by a buck or something, right? I can't really help it. Shit happens. But Ethereum is now making an effort for the first time to actually gain something, right? And we could start off with this level, right? We could actually start off with this level. No, don't get me wrong, we still haven't done a thing on Ethereum, right? I mean, this is nothing. Like, obviously, like I've said before on Bitcoin, right? If you do something like this and just close right under and then go, it's obviously nothing, right? Because
That would
what
be
you want to see,
way
you
better.
want to see something like this, right? I mean, you want to see that break of the level or something, right? And stay some time above it before you go down, right? But yet this is a nice sign right now. So right now what we have to do, we most obviously have to hold this level. Like, we just have to hold this level. If we go under this level again, it's like we didn't do shit. It's the same old dead time for Ethereum, right? But but Ethereum bringing out the past and everything, and zero point 0.2, I mean 2.0 Ethereum, I mean it should do something. Am I right, Arnaud? I mean it should
Yeah,
possibly moon a little bit, right? I'm just pleased if they could please test this area, right? I mean this would be such a great test of the area, right? Really great. Look at that massive gap still waiting for us there. And I'm not saying test it because it's a gap. It's just a nice level that would make a lot of sense if it was tested, right?
that would coincide with 10,000 or something like this with BTC, I think. If
Yeah,
Ethereum
yeah,
test that area,
yeah. But the
right?
thing is, maybe Ethereum is gonna move on its own at this time, right? Because uh, when we check Bitcoin dominance, it's so high. It's so high right now. I mean, it's possible that Bitcoin just goes on, on just goes on like sideways for a long, long time, and Ethereum finally starts gaining something. Like even if you check Ethereum BTC chart, yep, it's basically came down to my area almost. This one down here, yep,
We got a higher low there. That's pretty good.
yep. Okay, it still didn't test my area, and right now it's rejecting right here. So before it even reaches this level, so this is pretty bearish because look, we rejected this main level right here, right? So this is still pretty bearish. Let's go daily to see. I mean, there's a whole lot of things that we should test. Like, I mean, we could also test this, right? I mean, this okay, it did came close here, but this is still untested, right? Plus, you also didn't test these things, right? I mean, you didn't test these things at all, right? So there are some moves that would be potential for Ethereum, at least 60%. So yeah, this could move without BTC, this could move without BTC being on sideways, so it wouldn't count too much on that one. Uh, okay, so this is so much for Ethereum BTC. Wait, so Gordon asked for mine charting gold again. Yes, I can chart the gold for you. Like I said, I don't trade gold myself, and I don't know the tendencies it respects, but by the basics of the price action. Wait, the last time I thought we spoke the last time that gold is has a high chance of rejecting here. Did we not? I think we spoke that gold has a last chance of rejecting up here. Uh, so right. Oh yeah, this was actually a main level, so that was a nice short. If you pull that one, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we discussed last time on gold. So so there's one more possibility of short. Let me just see it. Where would I take it? There would be one more possibility of short. I would say around here. Yes, around here with the structure being of yeah, around here, which is 30 bucks stop. Not too much, not too bad. Now, I'm not sure if gold tends to wick. I'm not. I'm not sure because I don't even have the volume in this chart. I'm not sure if the gold will wick. That's something. If the gold wicks, then again I would do the same thing on Bitcoin as I would do on Bitcoin. But judging from this side, I don't see gold being that weak. After it gains a level, it usually holds it. So I do like this chart a lot, to be honest, because they. It's pretty clear to. I mean, it kind of gives you a direction, right? Because look at this downside to here. I mean, every time it tested the bottom of the level and it didn't break the high because it went under the level, right? And then again here, it went up, but it didn't break this level, so it went lower eventually, right? But then once we finally broke the level here, right? We actually came down and tested this level and then bounced away, right? And here you made a double top and you came down and bounced away, right? So every time you did a bearish action, it did drop the level, and every time you did a bullish action, it didn't drop the level. So that is actually a good, nice price action. It's actually a pretty nice chart. A lot better than Bitcoin in this spot, because Bitcoin doesn't respect that. But the only thing is, when it tested the main level, it rejected, but it didn't give it gave a little small reaction to it, only 6%, which you would in these cases would think that it would come at least down here, right? I mean, at least to this area, down here. But I mean, it came close. It reacted very aggressively bullish. So right now, I would definitely keep my eye for this level, and then the next one would be this level with the stop above here, right? And if it just moves through this, it's just hella bullish, right? But let me check it again on high time frames. I mean, on high time frames, it didn't lose any major levels, but still, you know, we lost this without any reactions. So I'm saying that these two things should give you a reaction. These two things should give you a reaction. Okay, back to... wait, I'm gonna save this for the next stream if yes, because I didn't remember what I talked about.
Exactly.
Sorry, yeah. Okay, so, oh, look at that. Ripple, when we decided to long it, actually, the previous stream actually gave us a nice reaction, right? I mean, you can't be hater of that, can you be, Arnaud? Hamza asking, kindly chart BNB USD and XRP. Wait, do you mean USD or USDT? Or is that just the same thing, BNB USD? I presume it's USDT?
Yeah, BNB USD.
USD, right, as a dollar. Wait, is USD different than USDT? Let me see that. It kind of looks the same, doesn't it? Let me see, BNB USD. Oh, it looks quite the same. Okay, BNB. Right after notice, high time frames, bearish, my friend. Bearish, bearish. There's been the ultimate coin of Binance. Obviously, they have the strong enough market makers so they can break the bearishness, but this cannot be rejected. Oh, it's actually, I remember this meme. Where was the owner of CZ, or what's his name is, from Binance, when he said don't short BNB, right? But they said the margin for shorting BNB is open, oh, but don't short it. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. And then it went down, like he said, don't short it here, right? And then it went down for like 50-60%, right? Obviously, you lost the main structure level right here, right? The thing is, most of the people will not tell you hold above here and wait, sorry. It's gonna they're gonna tell you hold above here and we're gonna go higher, right? The only problem is, right, that you already came down, you tested this area perfectly, right, and you bounced, and you didn't, and you rejected the first possible level, right, and now you went under it. So to my logic right now, I'm not gonna say hold above here to go higher, right, because that makes no sense, because you already come down, you tested it, you didn't go higher, and you went even lower, right? So right now, again, people would expect if it goes right here right now and closes right here, oh, it's gonna moon, right? Nope, that's not how the trading works, right? So most of the cases right now, if it comes and decides to test the levels, I would look for a short here. I mean, in this case, I'm not if the shorts are even open, because this level was already tested, and this would be my first short if it wasn't tested right here, right? I would look for a short right here. But for long wise, I would actually wait, because this being such a strong level, I would actually wait now for us to do something like this, for us to gain this level, and then I will smash along down here, right? Because why? If I wait for first of all, I know they have market makers, right? The market makers are not on right now. They were on right here, you know. This is not a coincidence, right? So so if I'm gonna see spike increases the volumes, I'm gonna hella long it down here, right? Because why? Market makers. You know, if Binance is turning on market makers, they're gonna invest some heavy money into it, it's gonna go up, obviously, right? But if I tell you where my normal shorts would now be, right? I mean, I'm saying if the normal shorts would now be, oh wait, that was tested, sorry. If the normal short then will be, it's again a vast fucking area now run down here, right? And let's be honest, even if I tell you my next, long would be down here, right? I mean, it's a 50% drop. It's gonna take you ages to get to there. Like, I mean, this first drop, or should I say the first drop? Like, let's see how long this actually took us to get down here where we at now. It was basically, almost half a year, right? So definitely not. definitely if I tell you, you're gonna have to wait half a year to get filled on this one, and this is probably even more because Binance will defend the prices as we go, right? uh, it's obviously not interesting for anybody at all, right? But there's no secret that Binance is losing their users and that they're trying heavily to pump the coins to get some users back to some action, hence Matic and stuff like that, right? Which we also said it's coming down, and it did come down in a fast fashion, right? Um, XRP USDT, let's do XRP USDT. Wait, yep. XRP. So XRP lost its uh, long-lasting support of evidence. Bomb. Again, it's quite obvious. If you go above this level, you're gonna have some fighting chances. Until you go above this level, there are very little fighting chances for you, and it's still 20% pump less. You didn't even gain this level right now. You didn't even gain this level for now. You rejected it. And you rejected it in quite hasty manner. So right now I'm still not gonna say nothing about nothing about XRP that would make me bullish at all. But I would if this, and I'm saying if this price on daily, right? We're on daily chart. If this something like this. So let's just say if it stays up here, or if it's above this area for the next 2 days, right? Or maybe 3 days, we can smash this long down here, right? I would smash a small long with a tight stop. It's probably not that tight because, okay, it's 6%, not too bad. Tight stop, and you can possibly ride it again up here to this area. This would be your first profit target, your last profit target, and then if it blows over, you would just go for a second long on the pullback, right? But given the volumes, you might not get a pullback because that's the new thing of crypto. There are no pullbacks, just moons and dumps. Hope that changes in the future. Yes, that would be pretty much for XRP. It's quite simple. There's not much to say, because you're on the lower low, so you actually don't have anything to say at it. Perhaps if you go with any other, I'm not sure. Poloniex does have a better chart. Oh, Poloniex actually has a better chart. Oh, it's so choppy. Well, I'm actually not surprised it bounced around here. I'm actually not surprised it wasn't the thing to hold. Well then, if it does bounce, if it goes for lower low, that's another action I would take. You can take another long right here with a tight stop. Uh, with a tight stop, right? Oops, what the hell is this stop? That's not a tight stop at all. With the oh yeah, it's not tight. Never mind, it's 12%. It's not that tight as you would want to, right? I mean, especially given this reaction. Wait, how much was this reaction? 50%. Problem is, if I tell you to go this one and then your first profit target is here, your reward is so shit. Don't take that one, don't take it. Just wait for a slight reversal and then take it as well with a smaller stop. I wouldn't recommend taking these trades right now. The room for reactions is too small. The reaction is small, right? I mean, see, this would have given you only 2R, and you're taking such a huge trade. It's just not a good thing to do, right? We got anything more? Okay, guys, if you got any more questions, ask them, right? We are trying to answer them. Actually, speaking of BNB, we actually still have a trade on it, and yeah, we're still waiting for the trade on BNB. Hopefully, this is gonna end up positively. It's a pretty strong level, so we should get a reaction. Again, the stop is not too wide. On Fed, you need to see the things. This trade, it was a nice trade. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a pretty nice trade. I would have taken it any day. The problem only is the stop. Okay, it's 11%, 1160. And the thing is, we even talked about this in the last webinar that I'm trying to keep my stops at a minimum just because reactions are so poor, and we got a reaction, right? After a fill, we got a 10% reaction, which was not enough for me to make a decent profit of it, right? I would at least have to see this line, if not this line, right? But I'm just trying to, sort of fix the thing with the stops. But the problem is, as soon as I fix the thing with the stops, right? So that I make my stops more, more fit or smaller, right? I have to change my entries, right? And then I move my entries down. I get a 9% stop, boom, and I get missed, right? and then I get missed and we don't make any money, you know. So that's the biggest issue of crypto right now. I mean, it's just things that when you have volume, you really, there are just a couple of guys who are pushing the markets, or a couple of people that get together and pushing the uh, design markets, and you can't really do much about it, right? I mean, you can only guess where the edge is gonna be. And then if you use a tighter stop, let's say, why did you place your stop down here? Well, then I'm gonna place my stop right here, and it's gonna stop me, and then it's gonna turn around, right? So there's no possibility of you knowing that now it's gonna turn around there, or it's gonna turn around here, or anything in between, right? So it is, in this manner, it is quite a heavy thing to predict, right? Especially in these cards. The alts were not like this in the beginning of the year, but the previous beginning of the previous year. But I hope they come back to their natural case, which they were before the month of what was it? The month of October. It started being like this, right, Arnaud? I think it was month of October, right? That all started to be a little bit more shit. We can also do ADA. Yeah, ADA is. Oh yeah, the new chart of BitMEX. I love it when they. Oh, so this is also one thing we did in the previous webinar, if I'm not mistaken. And it's actually played out beautifully as well. See, we got a reaction, but here the problem is, like I said, right? So you had this stop. So if you had your stop any smaller than you were supposed to have it, and it's a good. So if I just said, okay, this stop is too small for me, right? If I said this stop is too fat for me, right? And then I would just move it to this big. See, I would gotten stopped, right? This is the logic. And in this case, the stop here is small, but still, you know, the reaction wasn't that big. You know, I would still want it for reaction to at least get to up here, so at least make 2.5 prices on my risk, right? Obviously. There's also one thing that I forgot to mention about the Binance. They just added, I think it was Polish zloty, right? And what else, Arnold? Uh, what else did Binance add, Arnold? I'm not sure.
Uh, can you repeat?
I'm saying what else, Arnold? Binance added to their, you know, trading for
Let me take this.
they added Polish zloty and Swedish krona, right? So
Ah, yes, yes, yes,
yes, so
yes.
if you check Binance lately, right, they've been adding a lot of these things, right? Wow, they have been spammed on Telegram.
And they are going to add even more in 2020
See, that's the thing, right? Now you gotta ask
to
yourself.
to reach a total of 180 fiat currency, I think.
Yeah, you gotta
So
ask yourself, why are they doing all this, right? They're doing all this because they want to retain their position as the main exchange, right? Which is right now only by the usage of market makers, and market makers, they cost a lot. The thing is, okay, so not so far ago, I thought Link was one of the best coins, right? We had, and look at it, it reacted nicely again from our spot that we showed in the previous webinar. Man, we are running hot on those spots, huh? Jesus Christ. So I said, as you spoke last time on about on the link, right? It's we all agree that it's one of the best altcoins that there exists, right? Until lately, I learned that Link actually spends up to 20 to 30k a day keeping their volume up, or should I say their fake trades up, and that's definitely not a sustainable process if you want to have a business, right? I mean, you can't be spending that kind of large amounts of sums of money on just keeping the interest up of your coin, right? Because that they're not making that money back anywhere else, right? So supposedly speaking, you're just throwing money away, right, until it runs out, right? This is a really bad one. Hamza, one question: are BTCUSD and Binance futures have same chart of BTCUSD to an exchange on TradingView? Well, the thing is, it all depends
yes,
to
this,
what.
this is the same.
What?
Not no, no, it's not the same shop.
The thing is, right? Yes. Okay, so it all depends, right? I'm gonna show you. It all depends on toward what pair you're looking at, right? Oh my God, what is this? Uh, it all depends on what you're looking at, right? So the thing is, you can see that this price can be different to this price, right? But it's not right now. And why is it not right now? Because last night or 2 days before, USDT actually added to their market cap, right? To link the price again with the BitMEX, right? Because before that, Bitfinex or USDT in this case was actually $30 higher than BitMEX, right? And if I recall correctly, we also had some. I mean, I'm not sure when that happened, but I mean, we also had some periods of time when Bitfinex was actually 150 or $100 above the BitMEX price, right? Because BitMEX ties their price to real USD, right? While Bitfinex and Binance used to tie it to the USDT, right? So then it would come to changes depending on USDT coin market cap, right? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, USDT has right now. Wait, what is this lag? Not sure. USDT. Oh yeah. Yeah, they added to their circular supply and total supply, right? I mean, you can see this going market cap. Look at the market cap going up, right? And all of this was basically they bring this up just to level the price again with the USDT, and they have to do this every now and then. And I'm not sure how this USDT works. You asked me too much there. I'm not sure how USDT works, right? I don't know why they have to do that in order to keep the price the same, right? Have no clue about that. But yeah, basically that's the point to why charts differ. You can see again right now there's $7 difference, right, or $8 difference. So I don't know why this is why USDT performs in that act. But the thing is, if a lot of people sell into USDT, they bring the price up, right? So they have to increase their circulating supply so they can keep the price level, right? But if a lot of people sell into USDT, right? I mean, if a lot of people sell, yeah, then Bitfinex has to buy USDT back in order to lower the circulating supply and then keep the price level. It's a quite complicated process of them keeping the price level to level with USDT. I mean, with the current rate of real life USDT, right? So not a lot can be said by that. It's not on. It's a complicated process, right? So if you want a real price, then you most likely have to go to BitMEX because BitMEX ties their price of Bitcoin with the real USD instead of USDT. So that makes a lot more sense in real world than it does in crypto, right? XRP. Oh yeah, we actually call it XRP. Sorry. Litecoin. Did we cover Litecoin? Litecoin did absolutely nothing since our last stream. There's not even. Don't even know if we want to lose our breath talking about it, right? I mean, there's absolutely nothing here. TRX, I think we had a trade with TRX. Oh, it's coming actually close to a TRX trade, so I guess perhaps this week we're gonna get filled on it. Let's see. It is 10% still. Oh, still a lot, right? And judging by the amounts of move it did in the current date range. Oh, 30 days. So basically we didn't even move 10% in 30 days. Yeah, we didn't even move 10% in 30 days, so that's shows some life right there. Just sideways action, right? So, if you guys got any more questions, hit me up with it right now in the YouTube chat. If not, we can wrap this one slowly up. Basically talked about every major issue right now, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Hopefully Ethereum picks up with this new technology. We all do. We all still have love for the Ethereum since the ICO days and everything else, right? I mean, we all played those in the early days and most of us got burned on them. Most of us didn't, you know, it's like that. So, everything went the same direction, right? If nothing else, then we will slowly be wrapping this one up. You got anything to add, Arnaud? Well, I'm guessing you then don't, Arnaud. So, there's nothing to...
Okay. If there is no more question, guys.
Yep.
Yes, I think this is about it.
This trader reacted a little bit.
Any
Yep.
altcoin?
Yeah, I'm just looking at altcoins. So this one is what could be considered a good level, right? It's finally coming down here. Yep, long. Finally coming down here. Stop under this. 5%. That's a good one.
Put it
So here, could you chart ZRX on ONT and Beam? Curious how those will work out in the upcoming time. Okay, Shakib, let's see. Let's start with ZRX. Let me see. Oxy. Oh, look at that. It's actually coming to the level I have linked. I don't know if I guess it was
Pretty
in
close, yeah,
it
actually,
was
yeah.
in the previous stream, I guess. Yes, I would definitely take a trade here. I am not lying. I would definitely take a trade here with the stop under here, which gives me a 6%. We can actually call this one out, Arnaud, as an official call. It's around 6 to 7% stop. With the profit targets being one here. Let's
It's
see.
just 1 hour, yeah,
Yeah, just a little
it
bit
is.
under. Just gonna front try and let this, something like this for the first profit target, just because of this left side. Yeah, like this.
And the volume is dead also on
The
that
volume
one.
is dead, right? But we can't know if the volume will increase after hitting this particular spot, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
ZRX, I would take the trade right here, but like on if I zoom it out right now, it's still not showing the signs of bullishness, right? I mean, this was it rejected here, then it bounced here and rejected again. So it's yes, it's still bearish if that answers your question. But this is a small time play. Don't hold this all the way up, right? You have this is just a small time play with two profit targets at max. You know, one being the second one being here, and you don't even know if the reaction is gonna be strong enough to even get to the up here. So that's the sad part, right? That's for ZRX. Let's go to ONT. ONT. ONT BTC. Oh yeah, we okay. So actually, we had a trade here. We didn't call it out, and then it didn't play out anyway. So we were lucky there not to indulge in this one. It's still holding the same support, and it's looking like it wants to accumulate, right? And seeing this chart right now, and seeing it from the far side, I'm gonna tell you, I would do absolutely nothing with it. This is not enough for me to do anything with it, because if we really wanted to be bullish, we would react from here, but we didn't. I mean, we reacted like a really small percentage of 7-8%, right? And then we went even lower. So right now I can only assume it's, since we already touching this support for the fourth time, that we are gonna go lower eventually, right? It does look like it's want to accumulate, so something like this can do, right? Something like this can do like this, and then it finally breaks out and does like this, right? This is a possibility for ONT, right? But this can still take months and months before this happens. So right now, nothing for ONT. I will do absolutely nothing with this chart. Would not trade it. Beam. Okay, so Beam, I can see it's fairly new chart. There's not a lot of history in it.
relatively new as a coin
Yeah,
beam.
relatively new. So the first thing I notice is it has kind of a similar pattern to what it had Bitcoin on 3K. So right now this would be the middle of structure, right? And then
Could be accumulation, right, Alex?
yes. So now I'm going to say this. This is not very interesting. If I go on daily, let's see the volume. So the thing is, right? We didn't break the top, yet we do higher highs, right? And we get lower volume, right? I mean, so what experience has taught me, when you do stuff like this and you get lower volume, right, you tend up to actually go lower, right? So in this case, if I was looking for a trade, I would look right at the bottom of this. So basically, I would look in this area, right? This area, I would look for it with the stop under the low. Oh, sorry, that's with the stop under the low right here, of the low of the range, perhaps even a little bit lower than the range. You know, just give it that chance. Just a little bit lower, you know. I would actually look for a trade right here, right? And you can actually do multiple buys, you know, so that your stop is even smaller, because it's very likely that it's gonna test there. And then the question is, this would be your profit target, and obviously your main profit target, because this is your current range, right? But I would go for the second target and move it actually down here, you know, just to play on the safe side, because it is with decreasing volume, because this eventually can go on the lower low. It really depends what's gonna happen around here, right? It was similar to Bitcoin on 3K, but then Bitcoin went higher, right? But obviously Bitcoin before that dropped 90%, and it didn't have such a low volume as well, right? But this one is half completely decreasing volume, like if, you know, people are giving up on it, so it's not the best thing, yeah. So definitely, the first one, which was the ZRX, is quite good. Definitely take a trade on it. On this one, I would take trade as well. I'm not gonna lie, I would take trades as well. This one, but on ONT, I would stay away from it, right? Keep in mind that Beam had a halving on 1st January this year. I mean, okay, so okay, you telling me this information right now may be the reason for the volume spike right here, right? but it's not continuing, right? I mean, we're still keeping our eyes on it. I mean, we can keep an eyes on it. Let's just see what's gonna happen down here, right? But I'm saying if this one increases, then yes, of course you can move your long to something around up here, right? But you will have high chances of being wrecked if it doesn't increase the volume. If the volume stays the same, this is a high chance of being wrecked because it was tested in the past. And 7% stop, okay, it's not too bad, but like I said, it has higher chances of being wrecked, right? So for me personally, with this volume, would not trade it out there, but I would trade it down here, most likely. So basically, you got some nice charts. You got two possible trades. You found an ONT I wouldn't even touch. So yeah, that's the case. Well, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this webinar, right? And that was basically it. We covered almost the important aspects of Bitcoin, Ethereum. We talked about some news. We talked about some alts, and I'm glad you guys are asking questions about trading. And we tried to analyze them as the best of our abilities. Now, sorry, excuse me. Uh, Now for the next week's webinar, I think Arnaud was talking about something to me that we should may be able to move the time around. I'm not sure to which time yet. We will.
Yeah, we'll do a poll during this week in order
Okay, we will do a poll. So
to,
you
to
know,
catch the more audience for the next live stream.
yeah.
But this is still better than previous week.
Yeah,
But it was vacation, so
yeah, true.
understandable.
So the thing is, make sure you vote on that poll when we post it. And yes, Shakib, thanks to you too for following us on this webinar and posting questions, right? Because that's why we are here. We're trying to teach you guys a couple of things about trading, right? A couple of things for you so you can know yourself how to protect your capital in this bearish market still. And it's sad that it's so bearish, right? And yeah.
We still have a last question, Alex.
Oh, okay, okay. Hanzi, 2 years.
ERD USDT and HOT
Okay,
USDT have
yes.
long-term potential.
Okay.
Let's see that.
I will do it just for you, my friend. Hamzeh. Oh,
That's
look.
good.
Okay,
That's
I
good.
have this area down here, but looking at this area, it was tested right here. Because I haven't looked this chart for a while, I can see this, so it was tested right here. So this, for me, is now invalid, right? Because look at it. You didn't gain anything. So USDT-wise, let's see USDT-wise. USDT-wise, I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna go probably lower. There's a high chances of going lower. There might be one trade here left. But this one is if you have balls of steel. But okay, I'm not gonna forget this wick, right? I am not even gonna talk about this wick because this is clearly manipulation, right? So I'm choosing to ignore that one. You have another trade right here, right on the bottom of this trade before it goes lower, and most likely it will go lower. I mean, I don't know if they got some big news or something's happening. But until that, I would assume that this chart is gonna go lower. Jesus Christ, why is it showing me so high? Profit targets, Jesus. Yeah, I'm gonna assume it's gonna go lower. Main target being this area from before, which had a nice reaction right here. And this is about 1.4, 1.6 rewards ratio, which is not too bad, but also not too good, right? High time frame saying, I can't tell you much, the history is not in. I mean, this was a nice try, but it still didn't break the bearish sign. So yeah, for long term, definitely not buying for long term. Definitely not yet. I mean, unless they have some sick news, I'm definitely would not go into this chart for long term, right? Hot USDT. This used to be a very hot coin, not just name based, but very hot coin back in the day when I did trading in one other group. Uh, well, there's not much to go on. Is there a chart that is Hot USD Bitfinex? Oh boy, that's even worse. No, no, let's go back to USDT. Well, the situation of this chart is like this, that I wouldn't even touch it right now. I mean, you have absolutely nothing. You have double bottom. Yeah, that pump was so weak it didn't gain anything. Like, shit, I mean, hardly speaking, right? Even with the trusty of the old Fibonacci right here. And this being, opala. And this being very, what? And this being very basic Fibonacci. Wait, how do you, what the hell is this? Did they update issues? Because I can, for some reason I can't turn it around. Haven't used it in some time. Okay, I should do it like this then. Okay. Yep, it could still hit this. Holy shit, but that's way, way low. Still 50% drop. Definitely would not play with this one. I mean, until it does something, I would not play with it. It tried something here. It has a nice reaction here, but I mean, it's not a nice reaction. It's just a reaction, right? I'm not even gonna say it's nice because it absolutely did nothing with this reaction, and now it's going even lower with another reaction. And this being the second touch and basically gaining nothing, I would not play with it honestly. Like, I would definitely not play with this one. It's same as ONT before, right? I mean, I'm gonna check on hot BTC. If there's something different there. Same shit, man. Like, I'm telling you, I would not play with this chart. Like, if you really want it, you could do a trade right here with the stop. Sorry, long position right here, but I would really, really unadvise it because that's a 25% stop already because it's 2 satoshis around. Definitely would not play with this chart anymore. This is highly bearish. So yeah, would not play with hot, but I would play with ARD down there, like when I said in the first position. I would take the trade run here, as I mentioned before.
No more question, I think.
Okay, then we can wrap this one up. Thank you again, guys, for following us, and then we
Guys,
will see
be
you.
there, be there next week. We
Yep.
will conduct a poll this week in order to for you to express your opinion about at which time should we perform the live stream and see you next week.
Okay, see you guys. Yeah, take care.